Hi guys, and welcome to a little bit of fun here actually on Football Manager 2017. Just taking a look at how certain managers would get on if given the Rangers manager's job, which obviously is vacant at the moment. Rangers have recently released a statement saying that they're going to take their time looking for a manager. So we're going to, over the next couple of days, we're going to go through some on the channel here and see how those managers have gotten on when given the Rangers job. So as you can see by the title of the video and the profile we have on screen just now, the first guy we're going to have a look at here is Walter Smith. And what if Walter Smith was to return as Rangers manager? Now, eagle-eyed viewers will have spotted at the bottom his history looks suspiciously like one Sir Alex Ferguson instead of Walter Smith, and that's because Walter Smith doesn't actually exist in Football Manager 2018. So essentially all I've done is duplicate Sir Alex Ferguson and nerf his stats a little bit to make him into Walter Smith. And by the way, looking at the stats, you wouldn't believe that he'd been nerfed, but this is pretty significantly nerfed actually from Alex Ferguson. But I wanted to leave him. I mean, he's a sensational manager. Look at these stats; they're ridiculous. There's no way Walter Smith would have those stats. But I just wanted, for a bit of fun, to leave him with some pretty damn good stats to see what he could do as Rangers manager. So you see he's currently unemployed, but if we look at history milestones, he was the Rangers manager from May until May. So he has played, and obviously you can see here all of his list of accomplishments here as Rangers manager. I've currently taken over the Rangers team just so we can actually have a more in-depth look than we can when we are unemployed and outside of the squad. So the tactics Walter Smith was actually playing with, if we can have a little look here at his favoured tactic. Spread formation, a 4-2-3-1 wide. That is exactly what he played. He played a 4-2-3-1 wide. And a little look at the Rangers schedule here. We can see that they won the Scottish Cup final. If we jump into that game, we can see the type of team that he played. By the way, graphically, horrible up here. Football Manager 2018 absolutely needs to sort that out. That's terrible. Absolutely shambolic for a game on full release. But he played, and then this looks terrible here as well. Not good stuff from them. But basically he was playing Foderingham Valeri, player who he'd brought in on loan from Southampton, who got 18 starts in the Premier League and did pretty okay, or sorry, the Premiership. So he's done okay, good player there, young 19-year-old Frenchman. He was at right back, then it was Alves Cardoso, Declan John, Dorrans and Jay Fulton, who he brought in on loan from Swansea, who played 32 games in the Premiership and was outstanding. So yeah, Jay Fulton there, a brilliant get from Walter Smith. He also had Windass, Candeas and Herrera as his players. And if we look at Herrera, he scored 34 goals in all competitions this season, so he was sensational for Walter Smith's Rangers. But let's get into the meat of it. How did they do in their season? They were playing here. They qualified easily from the first round of the qualifiers, then they went on to the second, easy again, then they ran into Slovan Bratislava in the third qualifying round, and they went out to them, losing 4-3 at Ibrox and drawing 2-2 away. Then they went into the league season, beat Motherwell on opening day, and then they went out in the Betfred Cup, second round to Dundee. So that was really poor for them. Then they were in the league, and you can see his start here in the league, an absolutely incredible start. He drew against Celtic and Ross County. Other than that, they won all their games until they ran into Hearts in Edinburgh, losing that game. Lost away at Pittodrie as well, but really losses are few and far between. Then they lost at Partick and they lost at home to Hibs, so those were back-to-back losses, but he's done really well. So we'll take a little look at the league to see where they wound up there. Lost the last two games actually, away at Celtic and away at Partick Thistle. Of course, winning the Scottish Cup eventually over Hamilton. Scottish Cup, also they put out Celtic in extra time there, so that was hell of a result for them. This chap, Syed Haksabanovic, who was on loan from West Ham, getting the vital goal there. We'll take a look at all of Walter's transfers in a moment, but let's look at the league. They finish, eagle-eyed viewers will already have noticed, but they finish second place and they were 1 point off Celtic with 84 points behind Celtic's 85. So a hell of an effort actually to try and win the title there. Ultimately ended up behind Celtic, but it was a good showing. Ended up miles ahead of Hibs, so the Celtic Rangers duopoly at the top of the Scottish Premiership. They're well and truly restored under Walter Smith, and he did win a trophy as well, the Scottish Cup. I think Rangers fans would bite your hand off for that in real life. It's an excellent performance. If we take a look just now at their transfers for the season as well, We go in here, we can see we've already seen Jan Valery and Jay Fulton there. They also brought in Jordan Willis, permanent transfer from Coventry. He looks a decent player at centre back. He played 4 games in the Premiership, so really didn't do much for them. They brought in Callum Smith from Dunfermline, who started 1 game in the Betfred Cup. He looks a decent striker, but he really needs game time, and I think ultimately he's just going to waste away here. The West Ham boy, as we've seen, was brought in on loan. If we have a look at what he did, he started 10 league games, got 3 goals, played pretty well overall, but ultimately, of course, went back to West Ham. And we also had on loan from Stoke, Thibaut Verlinden, who played hardly any games and actually played pretty well during them, so you wonder why he didn't get much game time. In terms of players moving out, Lee Hodgson for 105k to Oxford. James Tavernier actually went for 2.2 million. That's a pretty good deal, actually, I would say, getting 2.2 for him. And Kenny Miller went to Toronto for 16k. I suppose you could say that got some wages off the wage bill there. But ultimately, that's how it went. We're going to be doing more managers in the coming days, as I said, here on the channel, taking a look at lots of other managers, the names who are currently actually in the fray for the job in real life. So we'll take a look at how a lot of them got on, but this is a pretty decent start here. As I say, that'd be a result, winning the Scottish Cup and coming second, that most Rangers fans would accept in real life. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, just drop down below and leave a like. I'd greatly appreciate that. If you want to see more coming out, follow on, see how other managers get on here. We also have our own Rangers series actually going on the channel just now, which you can follow by subscribing to the channel. But overall, just hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and look out in the coming days for managers such as Ali McCoist, Alec McLeish, of course Derek McInnes, Tommy Wright's in there too. I think we're going to do Barry Ferguson as well, see how he gets on. If he would be a shock appointment, but it's just a little bit of fun. Listen, don't take these too seriously, it's just to simulate them in the game and see what goes on. So as I say, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time for our next Rangers contender.